All right, class, today we are going to talk about syntax. Now, first of all, what is syntax? It basically refers to grouping of phrases or words to form a meaningful sentence. Or you could say that when we try to understand the structure of English sentence, right, we are involved in studying syntax. All right, now let's start. Here you have to use your knowledge of parts of speech. For example, the word is small, kissed, girl, doll, the, which word class they belong to, what is a small, is it a describing word? If it is, then it is an adjective. Kissed, it has an action, so it's an action verb. Girl is the name of a person, place, or thing, right? If that's the case, okay, then girl is the name of a person, right? So it's a common noun. Same goes for doll, it's a noun. And whereas the is an article, but its broad category is determiner. This is the term we widely use in syntax, especially when we are analyzing sentences, right? So determiners usually include words like possessive pronouns, for example, her, his, right? It also includes demonstrative pronouns like that, this, and it includes articles and the. Now, here, using our knowledge of parts of speech or word class, we have identified these words, right, as words either as adjective or verb or noun or determiner, whatever. Now, the next step is to think about the possible organization, right, okay, of these words to get a meaningful sentence. So if I say the is small, if I combine a determiner and adjective, um, possible, but probably not in this way, right? Because I cannot use the small alone. I need to have something over here, right, to make it meaningful. So if I say the small girl, I add a noun over here. Now it is meaningful. Now, what does that mean? This means that this word girl, right, actually is the one which is making sense for all of this, right? Okay. So if I remove girl, the small wouldn't mean anything. If I remove small and girl both, the wouldn't mean anything, right? But on the other hand, if I write girl, it may may have some meaning, right? Okay, so noun basically is the head, right? Okay, for all. So if we know the knowledge of, if we have sorry, if we know that the phrase is a group of word, right, in that case we can say that the small girl is a phrase, but because girl is the main thing here, right? Okay, that's the main word which basically is required, right? Okay, for this to form this phrase, right? So noun is a head basically, and we name such grouping a noun phrase. So this is a noun phrase, and we can see that the order is that we have determiner, we have adjective, and then we have a noun phrase also. So if I put it this way, that noun phrase, right, has a determiner, it has an adjective also, all right, and the most important is it's got it's got a noun. Right? Okay. Now we have come to know that we have a noun phrase here. Right? So what about doll? It's a noun. So I can write over here the doll, right? Okay, or I can even write the small doll. So once again, this is a noun phrase, but I cannot write the small only, or I cannot write doll the, it wouldn't mean anything. So there got to be a particular order that we need to have a determiner before the adjective or before the noun, all right, or we need to have a noun before the adjective. I can skip or eliminate both of them, and it's still my sentence may be meaningful, right? Okay, or either of them. For example, if I don't use adjective and I just write a doll or the doll, okay, it's still meaningful. Is that clear? Or that means like noun phrase may have a determiner, adjective, or it may not have determiner and adjective, but determiner and adjectives got to have a noun in the noun phrase. All right. So let me clear all of this now. Let me clear and then I'll explain it to you. Now, if I have to combine this sentence, and if I learned that okay, this is adjective, this is a noun, this is a noun, this is determiner, so we can like put all of them in one order, right? Okay, fine. So I can say the small girl. Oh, fine. Okay. Now, if I put a full stop, the small girl, it's not a sentence at all. It's just a phrase. So that means to write a sentence, I need one more phrase, right? So what other combination is possible? If I write over here, kissed the doll. So I know that this is a noun phrase and this is a verb, right? Now, if I write it over here, the small girl kissed the doll. Now, this is meaningful, of course, right? It's a sentence. And if we use our knowledge of sentence or knowledge of a sentence, right? Okay, we know that the small girl is the subject, okay, and kiss the doll is the predicate. So we can divide a sentence into two broad categories: the small girl kissed the doll, right? Okay, okay, kiss the doll. Now I can break this sentence from here. This is the subject, and this, the rest of the sentence is called predicate. Now I can see that this first part is comprised of a noun phrase. We we know that what is the noun phrase? It usually has a determiner, it may have adjective, and it must have a noun. So this is called noun phrase. Okay. So the sentence should have a noun phrase. And because this is a verb, right? So we can say that, and this is a verb, and it's comprised of, uh, different words. Okay, so this whole thing can be called a verb phrase, right? And within this verb phrase, we can see that we have a noun phrase also, which is the dole. We know a determiner plus noun is noun phrase. So this is a verb phrase. So if I break this sentence into two, so there are two broad categories, that are noun phrase and a verb phrase, right? So I can say that noun phrase plus a verb phrase, and within verb phrase we have a noun phrase, right? Okay, so if I do it this way, so noun phrase plus verb phrase plus noun phrase, this is the structure of my sentence. I'll definitely give you more details about, how to analyze the sentence, but for the time being you just have to understand that a phrase is comprised of words. Okay, and it is usually, when you put the words in the right order, right? So for example, I cannot say small the girl, it has to be the small girl. All right. And we also know that noun is something which is required, right, if you want to write a noun phrase. Verb phrase can be comprised of just one verb, or it can have, right, other phrases, right, in it. For example, here we have a noun phrase. Broadly speaking, we can divide the sentence into two: the predicate, and of course, predicate is comprised of uh, the verb phrase. Okay, and that verb phrase does have a noun phrase also, right? Now let's go ahead. Let me clear all of this. Let me use the mouse. So this I have done for you, right? Okay. All right. Now, if we have to analyze this sentence, right? So one thing we know that a sentence can be divided into two large units. So it is usually divided from here where the verb starts, right? So I can say that this whole thing is what? A sentence. All right, and it's divided into two things, NP and VP. So broadly speaking, I can say that there are two units here, right? The first one is NP, the second one is VP. Now I can see this NP can have, or it does have, basically over here, a determiner, an adjective, and a noun. So we can say that it has a determiner, that is the, it has got an adjective phrase or adjective, that is what is small, and it does have a noun ahead, right? That is indicated with N, right? So this is what girl. On the other hand, Here we can see that we have a verb, okay, that is kissed, okay. Then we have a phrase over here that is the noun phrase within this verb. So is this is divided into two things, right? Okay, that is a noun phrase, okay, and a main verb phrase. Main verb phrase. Let me erase this first. Let me put it in the right way. Okay, if I do it properly, then it should be main verb phrase, and that is kissed. And we have a noun phrase here, right? That is NP, which further divides into two. One is determiner, another is a noun, right? Okay. So here we have determiner the, and noun is doll. So you can see the small girl kissed the doll. And this is how we have been able to analyze it. So please do remember, first the you have to divide the broader units, okay? Then the smaller units are to be divided, okay? Same goes over here. Two broad units here, right? MVP and NP, and then NP gets further divided into two branches. And because it cannot be divided further, so we are just putting over here V, and we can write kissed this way. And because this can be divided further, so we are putting further categories like this, noun and determiner, right? And the dou. All right. I hope you've understood. This is the simplest way to analyze the sentence. It can be elaborated further, right? Or it can be, there are various ways to analyze a sentence basically. This is the simplest one because basically you're not studying a course, um, you know, uh, you're not studying syntax as a course at the moment. It's just a one unit in your book, right? So I don't want to go into much detail, right? So I'm keeping it as as simple as possible, right? All right, I hope if you have any question you can ask me during my live session. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself.